Fortnite! Yeah! Pew pew pew! Oh my gosh. Hello everyone! Welcome to this video. In this video, I'll be reacting to one of the videos from the YouTube channel The Game Theorists. I'm a huge fan of their work and I hope that you will like this video as well. This video came out in 2018, so this around 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Yeah, so it's about Fortnite Battle Royale. Yeah, so let's start.
Dear Epic Games,
Hi Epic Games.
I've figured it out. I've cracked the code. After days, weeks of thought experiments, research into human psychology, data science, and pulling real, actual numbers from your actual player base, I've uncovered the truth of why people are so hooked on Fortnite. Why you, the player, are still playing Fortnite.
The truth. Wow. That's impressive.
But first, I have a song for you. A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABC. Next time, won't you sing with me? Yeah.
H-I. You'll get more of that later for reasons that will become clear. Today, we're going to pick apart piece by piece the complex, multifaceted, genius, and honestly, frankly, lucky formula that makes Fortnite, and in many respects, other games, super duper popular, and why you like them so much. Let's get started. Fortnite first got on my radar a little bit before it got super popular, and it was still popular, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't quite where it is now. At the time, I predicted that Fortnite would have like a quick, strong surge in popularity and then die, like a lot of trendy games did at that time, and boy, was I wrong. Incredibly wrong. This game has a passion that won't quit. Look at this Google Trends graph! Eventually, I had to know why.
Note that this video came out year 2018, so I think it's around 3 years ago. The data changes here and there. Yeah.
I have to know why, and the answer is actually a bunch of things that Epic Games did on purpose, and a few that were done by mistake. At the end of the day, we're gonna prove together that Fortnite is the culmination of decades, maybe even hundreds of years of human psychology, game theory, and statistics to form one of the most modern iterations of games designed to get you hooked. And just a quick primer, I'm gonna avoid using the term addicted here because, well, addiction is complicated. Our models for addiction and what makes...
So it's models of addiction, behavioral learning model, biopsychosocial models, cognitive models, disease models, final common pathway gateway model, genetic predisposition model, lifestyle model, moral model, and parental influence model.
People addicted are constantly shifting, and one person's addiction is another person's just a good time. A lot of this episode also builds on concepts MatPat has already gone over in great detail, like dopamine pathways and randomization and Skinner boxes.
Dopamine pathway, all this.
From these episodes. And if you haven't watched these videos on that, it's totally fine. You don't actually need to watch them to understand this, but you should do it eventually. And if you have watched those videos, we're gonna be digging deeper today. Way deeper. Deep into your psychology and lizard brain. And
Wait, what? Wait, what? Our psychology and lizard brain? What? Okay, interesting.
We're going to arm you with the knowledge of the tactics game designers are using on you so you can walk away from this one step behind the game developers instead of 10. The first thing you have to recognize is that
Hey, wait. One step behind instead of 10 steps. That means the game developers are always in front of us. Huh. Interesting.
human beings are irrational by nature. Yes, even me! We don't analyze numbers, odds, chances, and our experiences from a grounded point of view. This is probably most emblematic in what's known as the gambler's fallacy, which is also known as the fallacy of the maturity of chances.
Gambler's fallacy. Fallacy of the maturity of chances.
And it can be described thusly. You flip a coin. What's the chance of it landing heads or tails? 50-50 or 1/2. Okay, so it lands tails. What's the chance that if you flip it again, it'll land heads? Still 50-50 or 1/2. But the way that we assess the situation moving forward is that because you know that in 100 coin flips, roughly half the flips should be heads, that flipping a coin and it coming up tails increases the chances that the next coin flip will be heads, which is total nonsense. The universe doesn't have a checkbook upon which it balances coin flips. Sid Meier addressed this fallacy in a 2010 GDQ talk on the psychology of game design, where he also mentioned 3 specific things that he does in order to make sure people want to keep playing his games. 1. Create a sense of linear progression.
Create a sense of linear progression. That's true.
2. Make the player constantly want to play one more turn. And 3. Make the player feel above average. In single-player games, this is pretty easy. You add an RPG element, you make a tech tree, you ascribe points or levels to pass through, give power-ups, you tweak the AI, so it's just challenging enough that you don't always win, but you do always come out ahead with a net gain, and then you give them a sense of accomplishment and goals to aspire to that make them keep wanting to come back. But in an online game, especially one that's pretty much exclusively PvP, how the heck do you do this? Very, very carefully. Now let's start with the easiest, a sense of progression. Now there is a place for tech trees and RPG elements in online games, but usually they're relegated to single player games unless you're playing, say, World of Warcraft. But Fortnite and Overwatch both have progression in them, and it comes in the form of the experience bar. A bar that honestly almost literally does nothing aside from creating an anticipation for a reward, which we'll get into more later. But filling that bar, getting a reward from it, and in the case of Overwatch and Fortnite, getting more skins and ways of expressing yourself, that's all the sense of progression that you need. And we like progression. We like completing things. This is exactly how Fortnite gives you this sense of linear progression. Even if you're the first person to die in Fortnite, you get experience points. You push that bar a little bit closer to your reward. And then there's all the tasks they give you to try to accomplish.
Oh, it's like an illusion. It's like a facade. Wow.
Fortnite is filled with little bars that fill up that you're never quite done with, and as a result, they linger in the back of your mind forever due to 2 different but related psychological effects. The Zeigarnik and the Avciankina
Zeigarnik effect and the Oxfam.
The Zeigarnik effect is pretty simple, and you're probably experiencing it right now. Remember when I started to sing the alphabet song earlier and stopped? That's the Zeigarnik effect, which states that humans are more likely to remember uncompleted and interrupted tasks way more than ones that are completed. That's why, while you can level up and complete a level in Overwatch or Fortnite or, man, I don't mean to harp on those 2, but they're just my favorites right now. You'll never complete every single bar. There's always one more daily task, one more task for the current holiday, or you'll never get every single skin, spray, character icon, and gold weapons, never kill every single orc captain. In fact, Shadow of Mordor is a great example. If you go online and look up people who branded every single orc captain and war chief, they said the game stopped being fun because there was nothing to do. So it's in a game designer's best interest to never let us complete everything. You can, of course, but if you get every single object in a game like Overwatch, you are by far the minority. JKLMNO.
JKLMNO.
The The Avsviankina effect is a complementary psychological effect that states that humans have
Why is it written in German? Come on, translate for us, please. Come on.
a tendency to pick up incomplete tasks without prompting and often without thinking about it. And already you can start to see how creating a sense of progression in games like Fortnite, of trying to get that one skin or the next level or complete that one task, design goal number 1 starts to set up the pieces for design goal number 2, creating a feedback loop of just one more.
Just one more. It's the saying that of just one more. That feeling.
Which can be explained in one word: flow. You know what flow is. You experience it all the time. Sometimes we call it being in the zone. It's when you're just kinda living, fully immersed in what you're doing. Acting sorta without thinking, but at the same time, what you're doing is all you're thinking of. This is the ideal state that games want you to be in. This is the perfect zone of playing without thinking about anything else. Building settlements in Fallout 4, murdering orcs in Shadow of Mordor, exploring star systems in Elite Dangerous, mining minerals in Minecraft, everything professional speedrunners do, all of these things are examples of flow. And I'm totally sure that you guys have your own experiences with it as well. Basically, it can be described as whatever the opposite of getting over it with Bennett Foddy is, which is one of the major reasons people hated it so freaking much. Well, by creating a series of tasks and goals,
Oh my god, he uses the getting over reference.
That will remain forever incomplete, games set you up to automatically pick them up without thinking, where you invariably get into a flow. This is reinforced by the use of Skinner models, which Matt, Pat, and various others have talked about in great detail before, but I'll touch on briefly here. Skinner models, also known as operant conditioning
Skinner models, or you can say it as operant conditioning models.
Models are circumstances described first by B.F. Skinner and is an extension of classical, also known as Pavlovian conditioning. The key difference between Skinner and Pavlov models is that Pavlovian conditioning is
Pavlovian conditioning is
reactive, while Skinner conditioning is proactive.
Reactive and proactive. So there's a reactive, there's proactive. Ultimately speaking, we are just habitual creatures, aren't we?
You ring a bell and a dog salivates in Pavlovian conditioning. Meanwhile, you train a dog to ring a bell himself in Skinner conditioning. And the way this flow, this repetition of behavior is reinforced, boils down to rewards. And this is where Fortnite really starts to outshine its competition in a pretty major way, and elevates them from simply good game designers to borderline geniuses. Because B.F. Skinner, when studying operant conditioning and how to, say, make a mouse get into a flow of hitting a button, aka playing a game for a reward, that the optimal sweet spot for getting that dopamine pumping was randomness. A consistent reward would destroy the mouse's flow because the sense of anticipation and the associated dopamine rush went away because the outcome was already predicted. And this is where you probably think I'm going to talk about loot boxes, but
It got animal of that sense of pride and accomplishment. Hey, yay!
No! Fortnite doesn't even have those. Instead of conveniently packaging their operant conditioning rewards in one easy-to-target place, they've spread them all over the game. The items available in the stores, the sets, but most importantly, the random items in the map itself constantly provides you with little hits of dopamine as you play the game. Will there be a good gun in that house? Will there be another person? The game is filled with thousands of little bumps of gamer crack as you play the game, constantly reinforcing that sense of flow and your incentive to continue playing the game. It is brilliant. PQRSTUVW.
W, X, Y, and Z. Go! Come on, one more!
So 1 and 2 are taken care of. Create a reinforced operant conditioning loop by giving people a sense of accomplishment while providing endless goals and random reward systems. But what of number 3? How?
So there is the importance of goal and randomness. Interesting.
In a game that's honestly so randomized, where every character is perfectly balanced because they're literally mechanically identical, that is effectively egalitarian. How on earth do you do number 3? How do you make every player feel above average in a meritocracy? And it's here that the incredible luck and the incredible genius of Epic Games really shines through. Because stumbling upon the formula, I think, was a complete accident, but capitalizing on it by scaling it up and perfecting it, whether you think it's evil or an inspiration, it's freaking genius. And the reason is surprisingly simple. Every game of Fortnite is secretly 2 games in 1. There are some very...
Wait, what? What? I mean, what? Oh, what?
verifiable facts that are impossible to deny when assessing a game like Fortnite. For every kill, there must be a death, and there can only be one official winner in the #1 spot. But if you want your players to feel empowered, to feel like even though they're not the best at the game, they're at least better than those bozo losers next door, that means that most people need to be doing more winning than losing. And it's here that the 2 games in 1 really shines. I took a survey on my Discord server, a group of people that broadly represent the average gamer, and I had everyone give me the stats for where they placed in their games of Fortnite. And
note that in this video came out in the year 2018, so it's 3 years ago, so thank you for grain of salt. Thank you. I appreciate it.
the results astounded me. Even accounting for errors in self-reporting, with over 200 games worth of data points, the average gamer finishes a game of Fortnite, on average, in the upper 34%. How on earth is that possible? Because the average person is playing predominantly one game of Fortnite. Originally, I was thinking about splitting the games into 2 categories, skilled and unskilled, but I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. So instead, I'm gonna call it high risk and low risk. Because while your actual skill level may place you more into one category than the other, it's not super relevant for right now. Now, high risk players have probably been playing the game for a while, have developed an immunity to the sort of high that people get finding random items, killing people, and placing highly, so they are more likely to try to get more items and more victories as fast as possible. They congregate in the highest population areas with other high-risk players, immediately get into fights, and honestly, most of the time, place really low. Meanwhile, the low-risk player is dropping in at the edge of the map and slowly creeping toward the center of the game as the storm eye shrinks. As they are doing this, their chances of running into other people is low. And while it increases as they move closer and closer to the center of the circle, it will never be as high as it is for high-risk players. But aren't high-risk players dying immediately, you might ask? And they are, because this is all a numbers game to them. Instead of a long, epic tale of survival and the tragedy of the human spirit against overwhelming odds like the Hunger Games, they are playing Hotline Miami, where they die over and over and over again, but iterate incredibly quickly. By the time I've reached the center of the map and there's 20 people left, high-risk people have already gone through 5 games. And this is the brilliant part, because players from both groups most of the time feel like they're breaking even, because while the high-risk players are dying frequently, they are, for one thing, mostly immune to that feeling of disappointment. Them, it's a slot machine. Lose, 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 lose. Losing is a part of their flow. But when they do well, when they win, oh man, that hit of dopamine is so good. And the kind of beautiful thing is that they die so that the low-risk players can feel good, because most of the time, the low-risk player is going to already place in the top 50% by the time they even see another person, barring some random death here or there. And this inflates the confidence of the low-risk player. Even though they, for all intents and purposes, lose every single match, they can at least say, wow, I made it to the top 3 or even the top 20. And you feel like you've won over a lot of other people. Almost every single person that plays Fortnite ends up walking away feeling like they're better than average. And Epic Games has done their best to maximize this. The player base erupted in an uproar when they introduced the idea of skill-based matchmaking, where low-skill players would match with other low-skill players, and while they backpedaled on it a bit, I guarantee you, if they have not implemented it yet, they definitely will in the future. They've already
Yes. Me from future. Yeah. Anyways.
Started it with input-based matchmaking, where people playing on controllers are matched with other people playing on controllers, mouse and keyboard with other people on mouse and keyboard, it goes on and on. And this isn't about increasing fair competition. It's not about game balance. It's not about respecting a meritocracy. It's about enhancing and pushing a user experience. Epic Games was able to keep up with the almost unbelievably high growth of Fortnite because they use Amazon Web Services, which scales to their needs, but also allows them to process user data on a scale never before seen in the gaming industry. Epic Games processes and tracks 92 million events per minute and over 40 gigabytes of user data per minute at peak use. And they gather and store over 2 petabytes of user data per month. Per month! That's 24 petabytes of information per year. All about you. Where you go, who you kill, when you get out, when you stop playing the game, all this data they parse with the powers of data science, analytics, statistics, and most recently machine learning to tweak their formulas to crank user experience to the maximum threshold possible. It's incredible and a little scary, honestly.
True, it's incredible and a bit scary, doesn't it? Just a bit scary. But still, yeah, wow.
This is the future of gaming. For better or worse, Pandora's box is wide open now. You can look at this one of two ways. You can look at it as corporations gaining more and more power and tools to take control of our lives, so we spend more and more time on their platforms so they can control us and ultimately our wallets. Or you can look at it as game developers using technology never before available to anybody else to bring us the maximum satisfaction possible. And these two perspectives aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. The world is complicated, but hopefully
True, those two arguments don't necessarily mean that they are mutually exclusive. The world is complicated, and well, sometimes they do merge sometimes, so more you know.
now you understand a little bit more about how Fortnite and other online games work to entertain and or control you. And at the end of the day, I think that's what's most important. That you be as informed as possible so that you can make your own decisions. Sincerely, Austin.
Yes, so you can make your own decisions. Well, sincerely, Austin. Wow.
X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. And next time, won't you sing with me?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. The flop. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm a huge fan of their work and hope that you will like this video as well. This video came up from the YouTube channel The Game Theorists, and yeah, that's the signs of. I do recommend that you watch more of their videos. And yeah, if you do like my videos, please watch my videos. If you do like my video, please consider to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you have anything to share with us. Thank you. And I'll see you next time. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Yes, I know, this is the signs of, so once more, yeah. Fortnite, Battle Royale, the signs of. Oops. Anyways, okay. And I'll see you next time. But hey, that's just a video. A science video. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Yeah.